Deep within the Sumatran ecosystem, apex species like elephants, tigers, and sun bears are navigating a rapidly shrinking world. As protected animals, their survival depends on vast, unbroken stretches of forest territory that is disappearing as human activity pushes deeper into the canopy. Right on the edge of that dense tree line, human populations face their own survival pressures. For the communities bordering these forests, economic stability is tied to the soil. Without land expansion for agriculture and new settlements, these families lose their primary means of survival. This visual contrast illustrates the reality of forest conversion. When communities clear native trees to carve agricultural terraces into the hillsides, they fragment the landscape. This process slices the forest into isolated patches, severing the natural migration routes wildlife rely on. This creates a zero-sum game. The spatial terrain required for human economic growth overlaps exactly with the corridors these animals need to hunt, forage, and breed. When those spatial needs collide, the results are immediate. Elephants can destroy a year's worth of vital crop yields in a single night. Tigers searching for displaced prey encounter village perimeters. These encounters create acute, deadly conflicts that threaten both human safety and wildlife survival. Constant threat breeds deep local resentment. For villagers, these endangered animals represent active threats to their families and livelihoods. That fear leads to defensive or retaliatory killings, which stalls broader conservation efforts. Traditional conservation methods like physical fences or human eviction often fail because they treat a socioeconomic problem as a purely geographical one. Ignoring the economic survival of border communities makes the breach of forest boundaries almost inevitable. The Perkumpulan Ulayat 2026 framework provides a structured socioeconomic mitigation system. This institutional plan is designed to move beyond simple advocacy, focusing instead on organized interventions to manage active conflicts. Effective long-term change begins with the immediate de-escalation of these crises. Addressing active encounters on the ground is the prerequisite for any lasting socioeconomic shifts. This system relies on community rapid response units. When animals enter human zones, an early warning system alerts a communications hub, allowing trained teams to redirect wildlife. These units use landscape data to track spatial patterns, securing perimeters before animals cross into human territory. While this warning system manages the immediate symptoms of the conflict, a long-term solution requires shifting the underlying economic foundation of the border region. The blueprint's second phase focuses on economic interventions, making the standing forest more profitable than cleared land. This transition involves organic agroforestry. Instead of clearing land, villagers cultivate shade-grown crops like coffee, which require the native canopy to thrive. To support this new economy, the community establishes local plant nurseries to produce high-value endemic species. These nurseries serve two distinct roles. They provide an immediate, sustainable income for the village operators and supply the biological stock required to restore degraded wildlife corridors. To manage these new forest products, villagers organize into formal cooperatives. This structure ensures that the economic benefits remain local, fair, and inclusive for the entire community. By positioning villagers as direct stakeholders in forest products, the program aligns the community's prosperity with the health of the ecosystem. The community becomes the primary force protecting the wildlife habitat they once relied on clearing. This visualization shows the equilibrium. Spatial boundaries are clearly defined: a village center, an agroforestry buffer, and a strictly protected wildlife corridor. This is measured by three indicators: Masyarakat secara, prosperous community; Hutan lestari, sustainable forest; and Satwa liar terlindungi, protected wildlife. This local landscape feeds into the macro level of Indonesia's Folu Net Sink 2030 initiative. This national climate goal aims for the forestry sector to absorb more carbon than it emits by the end of the decade. Community-led forest management naturally lowers deforestation rates and increases restoration. This makes local communities a critical engine for achieving national carbon emission reduction targets. The Ulayat model provides a scalable blueprint. The mechanism of tying local prosperity to ecosystem health can be applied to biodiversity and climate crises across the globe. Sustainable conservation depends on engineering economic systems where human prosperity and natural preservation function together. By making the forest an asset to those who live beside it, we create a path for humans and wildlife to thrive together.